Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Front Row Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
I'm Anthony Gonzalez.
Let's fucking go. So today, guys, we have a very exciting episode that we're going to talk about. We got UFC 294, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 2, and oh my gosh, this is shaping up to be a banger. So, basically, guys, let me give you it in short. So, the UFC is making their annual trip to Abu Dhabi, and of course, whenever they go to Abu Dhabi, they give them, Abu Dhabi folk, a good-ass fight card with usually most of their hometown boys on it. Now, this is just the one that happened to materialize. Originally, this fight was supposed to be Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2 in a rematch for the title after Charles Oliveira's stellar win over Beneil Dariush earlier this year. Who would have expected Oliveira to throw some head kicks? Do you agree?
Oliveira's out for blood. Simple as that. And I don't think anything could stop him. I think the only reason he pulled out is because he wants to be in top fight form when he does get his title back. But, my God, is there going to be a gauntlet to go by if there's nothing to say about it?
Yep, so that was originally supposed to be the fight card, but unfortunately, Charles Oliveira had to pull out of the fight due to a cut over his left eye, and he had to get it stitched up, and of course, you can't fight with stitches in. So, Oliveira had to pull out due to the cut. Now, guess who stepped in on 12 days' notice because he's just a fucking G?
I think someone was just really hungry for a rematch.
Alexander Volkanovski.
That is right. Thunder from down under.
The thunder from down under. Alexander Volkanovski has stepped in for Charles Oliveira to save this card and, to be honest, make it even better. And also, the co-main event got switched too. Don't think that every single event was saved here. Originally, it was supposed to be Mr. Secret Juice himself, Paulo Costa, and he was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Well, guess what? Paulo Costa got a little bit of a boo-boo, and he had to pull out of the fight as well. He had elbow surgery, and the elbow surgery got infected.
The secret juice was not secret juicing.
The secret juice was not secret juicing, so he had to pull out of the fight like a little bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But,
He will find us.
He will find us, and he will kill us. It's okay, man. I will subscribe to your OnlyFans, I promise. I can't believe I just said that live.
You got a new dedicated fan. There you go.
You got a new dedicated fan.
Don't kill us.
Don't kill us, please. Please. I'll buy all the secret juice. Anyway. So, but guess who stepped in for him? Probably the second best welterweight of all time. Kamaru fucking Usman.
Damn straight. It's about time he got back into it, but I understand.
To be honest, I mean, he took 2 tough losses to Leon Edwards, so naturally he's going to take a little bit of a break. Leon ruined him, man. He got knocked the fuck out back in August of 2022, and then, of course, lost the rubber match in March of this year. And holy fuck, both fights were great, by the way.
They were.
But, Leon Edwards prevailed, and now Kamaru Usman is running with Justin Gaethje and doing TikTok dances. So, safe to say Leon Edwards kind of ruined the guy.
To be honest, I thought that first one was a fluke. It was damn close. That was a come-from-behind victory, but that second time, just like, yeah, guess who's here?
Fucking 50 seconds left in the whole fucking fight. Usman dominating, probably 49-46 on every judge's scorecard. And he got fucking kicked into the Shadow Realm, where he would await his future partner in Dustin Poirier. So, because they both got kicked in the head, same time, same place. And, Dustin Poirier is now dined with Kamaru Usman in the Shadow Realm. But
I think you just have a little bit of a sore spot when it comes to it.
I couldn't have asked for anybody better for Dustin Poirier to lose to, though. Honestly, I'm going Gaethje all the way. I hope you win your title, guy, and then we'll do the trilogy fight between them for the title, and then Dustin will win. But, that's the ideal scenario. We still got a lightweight title fight between Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. Could it even be Islam Makhachev by the time that fight comes around? Now, you see, Volkanovski, we all know and love him. Featherweight champion of the world. He's game as hell. And before we get into discussing the more details of this beautiful fight card that has materialized, thank you, Uncle Dana. But, of course, we got the Mountain Dew today. Pepsi hit us up. I promise you I will market your product perfectly, and you will not have you wouldn't see a better marketing person than me. I will be your top salesman, I promise.
Listen, if you went to Zoom, he's got schematics on the walls about placement and when and where he's gonna, show it and display it. It's pretty fascinating.
I am a marketing major. This would be perfect practice for me. Anyway, so we already talked about how these fights materialize, but before we even get into the expert fight that we got going on, what's going to happen to Oliveira now? He was supposed to go into this fight, and he was supposed to show how much of a badass back Tad Oliveira is, and absolutely sleep the Dagestani. But, unfortunately that's not happening. Now, what if Islam does get beat by Volkanovski? Where does that put him in the pecking order? Is he number one contender, or is it still Justin Gaethje?
So that's a tough call. Obviously, I want Oliveira to fight next.
I want Gaethje. But
that man needs to shine because he's suffering without that title, and I don't want to say he'd lose that fight, but I'm not gonna say otherwise.
No, who? Charles Oliveira against Islam? Well, I mean, we saw what happened the first time and made it look pretty easy. But I personally think Oliveira just forgot to wake up that day.
He didn't show up.
He just didn't show up that day, guys. He pulled an Anthony Smith. I love you, Anthony Smith. Please put me on Leave You Me. This shout out to Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith, though. I fucking love your podcast. You're the reason why I started. Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with Oliveira now. He's kind of just... I mean, Justin Gaethje was the rightful number one contender, assuming that this fight went through. I mean, after a stellar head kick knockout over Dustin fucking Poirier... Of course you're going to get a title shot because Dustin Poirier, when do you see Dustin Poirier get fucking flatlined? You usually don't see Dustin getting flatlined. He's usually the one flatlining. But, shit happens, dog. It's the fight game. So, Gaethje was the rightful number one contender, and I do believe he is the backup fighter should Islam or Volkanovski miss weight or something tragic happen on media day or fight day, which, please no. I believe Gaethje is the backup fighter because he was seen at the open workouts wrestling with Kamaru Usman, and because they're training partners. If you didn't know that, now you do.
Well then, after the fight, whichever way it may go, we can have a Gaethje Oliveira fight for the next one up.
And plus, who wouldn't want to see that fight? Come on, Gaethje Oliveira 2 would be insane. I mean, even though their first fight ended in the first round, that round was fucking nuts.
They go crazy when they go crazy.
They do go crazy when they do go crazy.
Plus, it'd work out to the benefits of, resting after a match and whatnot. You put that in before their next title defense.
Yep, so, I mean, it's safe to say that Oliveira's in a bit of a limbo right now, and so isn't Justin Gaethje. And need I say, pretty much all the top 5 is in a fucking limbo right now in the lightweight division. Let's see, Dustin Poirier just got fucking flatlined. And, so he's going to take a break for a bit and probably fight again next year. And then...
I can see it physically hurts you to talk about that.
It's okay. It's okay. He just didn't show up. He didn't show up that day, and he got knocked the fuck out. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean... Physically pains me when Dustin Poirier loses. That's my favorite fighter, guys. Anyway, Beneil Dariush just got fucking flatlined by Charles Oliveira, so, I mean, I don't know. Is now the time to do Beneil Dariush versus Dustin Poirier? but even then, I don't think that fight's gonna happen. Giving Beneil Dariush a big name like Dustin Poirier, that's...
Dariush gotta go through a gauntlet of proving grounds right now, because he did not show up.
No, he did not show up that day. Neither did Dustin Poirier.
Then again, I think Oliveira was just very, very hungry.
Well, I mean, he just lost his belt to...
Did you see that back tap, though?
That back tap was beautiful. We love the lion looking...
It was hungry.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then we have Michael Chandler, who's going to be fighting Conor McGregor. So, which that fight's confirmed, by the way. It's probably going to happen at UFC 300. Because fucking McGregor finally got his ass in the USADA testing pool. Oh yeah, another fight news. USADA's no longer going to be the UFC's anti-doping agency. They're going to be running their own program now. But granted, Conor McGregor is still getting his testing done, so he's going to go through 6 months. And then, of course, 6 months from now is April, and April's about the time UFC 300 is going to happen. So, safe to say that's going to headline, even though I don't think it should headline, but it's going to headline because it's Conor fucking McGregor. But, and Conor McGregor has ultimate Dana White privilege, so doesn't Michael Chandler. So, of course they're going to headline.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a 300. What bigger fight do you want to see that will draw the pay-per-view?
John Jones.
John Jones and who?
John Jones and whoever the fuck is in the heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall, maybe?
What if
Stipe beats him.
Yeah. What if he gets slept?
What if he gets slept? Then well, shit. I guess maybe I shit on McGregor too much there. You know.
Oh no, he's definitely should have belonged. You know?
We love you, Conor McGregor.
We do. We just also love making fun of you.
I'm sure you're used to that though.
It's just how it is.
We love you, Conor. Please send me some proper 12.
Tell you what. If you let us drive your Lamborghini for a bit, you know, we might have a different opinion.
I still think you're gonna beat Chandler.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know.
We're not saying you're a bad fighter. We just love to trash talk about you.
Of course. But you know, it's you know, of course, we're talking as if Conor McGregor actually watches podcasts in his spare time.
Right. But I mean, even if your son out here is about it, you gotta have some haters. Otherwise, you don't know if you're doing anything right.
The world always needs a heel. Anyway. So, of course, Oliveira seems to be put on ice now, and I don't know what they're going to do, because Gaethje is the backup fighter, so rightfully that does make you the number one contender. But then again, Oliveira has earned it. Obviously, he should be the one to get a title rematch and get his belt back, or at least give it an opportunity to get his belt back. If he wins that fight, I don't know.
Well, I only recently started this past year, so has anyone been a double champ since I've watched?
No.
What, say Volk wins, who has the right to challenge him? Is it both the featherweight and...
And well, you see, we've seen people win 2 belts in the past, but we've never seen people defend 2 belts at the same time. They usually end up vacating one and keeping the other. And you see what happened when Conor McGregor won against Eddie Alvarez, and he outclassed the fucking shit out of him. We love you, Eddie Alvarez, but you got fucked on that fight. All due respect, but you see what happened is McGregor went and boxed Floyd Mayweather, and he was holding up 2 divisions.
He just went and headlined a bunch of...
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why we love shitting on him so much.
Yeah. I did want him to beat Floyd Mayweather, though, and that didn't fucking happen, so I'm like, God damn it, Conor. He did wobble him, though.
Now, I don't want to say that... What was that fight we just watched with Paul? Was it Jake Paul?
Oh, Jake. It was Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, I don't want to say that maybe Dennis took some trash talking lessons from you, Greggy, or you got your lessons from Dennis, but that was awful.
Oh my gosh.
He did not show up. He wasn't even in the same state. You know, he might have been in a different country that day because it was bad to watch.
It really was. It was terrible. It was hard to watch, you know. But it is what it is.
But what we should do is recenter back on 294.
Exactly. We have run the course way too much. So, since we are on the subject of double champions, we've never seen 2 people, one person defend their belt in both weight classes. When Henry Cejudo became double champion, he retired. And then when Daniel Cormier became double champion, he retired the light heavyweight belt and kept the heavyweight belt. So we've never seen somebody actively keep both divisions on notice.
I was going to say, either way, I think whoever wins is going to stay in their own weight class. Like, Volk wins, he's not going to defend that. He's going to go back to featherweight because he's rocking it there, you know? Makhachev, I don't think he wants to do featherweight, honestly.
He'd die if he tried to cut down to featherweight.
Yeah, I think, honestly, that the only reason this happened is because Volk wants it. I don't think Makhachev had any intention of ever fighting Volk again, if I'm honest. Maybe if the dollars showed.
Well, I mean, you see, Volkanovski kind of ruined him in their first fight. Have you seen the first fight yet? You should pause us right now. Go watch the first fight on ESPN Plus. I don't care if you don't have the subscription. Fucking buy it. And then, go and watch that first fight. Then come back, and we'll still be here. I promise. Go ahead. Okay, you back now? Yes, you are. It wasn't. You see, he fucking ruined him. But, of course, he won on points. That back control in round 4 definitely did it for him. And if you didn't score round 2 for Volkanovski like I did, Makhachev wins. So, it's the nature of the fights, unfortunately. But, I think the UFC did actually call Justin Gaethje first to replace Charles Oliveira. But Gaethje said he couldn't make weight in time.
Okay.
So he turned down the fight. Then they called Dustin Poirier, And Dustin Poirier said, sure. But then Volkanovski was on the other line and said, hey, I want that motherfucker. And then they said, oh.
He's not running for me.
He's not running for... Oh, what, mate? I kind of want to fight Islam. Don't give it to any of these other guys. You know you're going to make a lot of money with me. You know you're going to make a lot of money. It's a double champ fight. And you know I had him last time. How'd you like my Volk impression?
It was very good.
Thank you. But, so, Dana said, sorry, Dustin. We're going to be giving it to Volkanovski. Okay, Justin, we're going to give it to Alexander Volkanovski. And you're the backup fighter. But he turned down the fight because he said he wouldn't make waiting time. So, you know.
Hey, you gotta love fighters that respect the weight classes.
Mm-hmm. And Volkanovski's like, oi, mate, I can fight him. I'll promise I can do it. And then, I mean, Volk went on record saying if the roles were reversed here, this fight would never happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Makhachev's not fighting somebody on 12 days' notice. The guy can barely fight 2 times in a year. So, what makes you fucking think that he's going to make weight on 12 days' notice?
I did want to bring that up during your intro earlier because you had mentioned how, because it's going to be in Saudi, that they had the homeboys repping it, but didn't he say he wasn't going to fight unless it was Saudi? Dude doesn't defend.
Yeah, dude doesn't defend his title at all.
No, I can't say I'm sorry. I really can't.
I really can't.
Come on.
Come on, Makhachev, man. Defend your belt, man. You're already a huge star. You're going to make a lot of fucking money. And more than likely, you're going to beat him. So, I mean...
Listen, I want to see that honey badger rip you to shreds.
I really, really do. But, you see, you know, these daggies, bro. These daggy boys, they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And...
we would never discredit any fighter. So,
of course not. We just shit on certain fighters more than others.
If we're in their shoes, we're dead.
Oh, 100%.
We might get in triangle choke, but we're dead.
No, I'm not going to get in triangle choke. I am a white belt in jiu-jitsu with 2 stripes, though.
Listen, I wanted that quote on video.
I have 2 stripes, though.
He's got this, man.
But, you see, that if the roles were reversed, Makhachev's not making weight on 12 days' notice. The dude already kills himself in a normal fight camp to make 155. The guy naturally weighs like 200 fucking pounds. He cuts 50 fucking pounds to get down to fucking lightweight. And I'm like, you're just a weight bully, man.
Well, I mean, there have been some great weight bullies before. But... you know.
He's got a fight coming up, though. He's facing Jan Blachowicz for the vacant light heavyweight championship.
Ooh.
So, actually, no, not Jan Blachowicz. Fucking Yuri Prohaska. My bad. But, that's another episode for another day.
We can talk about that a different time. That's another pay-per-view. We are focused on 294 this one, because we got quite a few bangers. It's Saudi Arabia. They're going to have a stack card anyways. I'm not saying that money talks, but money talks.
Especially oil money.
Right?
Anyway, so, that's this fucking main event is going to go crazy. And then, of course, the co-main event is going to go crazy as well. Matter of fact, I want to go into more detail with the co-main event first, before we go into more detail with the main event. So, you see, Khamzat Chimaev now faces Kamaru Usman. So, Costa has had some very odd past few fights. He had one fight against Luke Rockhold, and he missed weight for his fight against Marvin Vettori. He missed weight before then. He's had fights canceled left and right. And then he's had a bunch of contract disputes as well. He was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker earlier this year on the Perth card. And when Volk was going for Islam the first time. But, of course, it never materialized because of contract disputes. So, Paulo Costa has been really, really hard to get a hold of. And then when we finally got him a fight booked, he got fucking injured. Because he's a little fucking bitch. But anyway.
Once again, that's him saying it.
So, that's me saying it.
Him and have a good... He's only second-degree white belt, so I mean, you got that.
Nah, I'm fucking dead, guy. Anyway, I promise I'll drink all the secret juice and subscribe to your OnlyFans. I already said this, though. But, you see. But now we have Kamaru Usman in here. So, but first, before we go into Kamaru Usman, the former champion, we gotta talk about Khamzat Chimaev making a debut at middleweight, which I think he's gonna do even better in this weight class than he did in welterweight, if I'm being completely and totally honest with you. Khamzat has been an absolute destroyer. This guy's fights never last much past the first round.
Oh, no, he's not. He doesn't go to decision.
He finishes.
It's...
The only time he went to a decision was against Gilbert Burns. And to be honest, the reason why I had to go to the decision was because Khamzat made it into a brawl. And if you're going to brawl, give me Gilbert Burns all day. So,
Take that one there. Burns.
Yeah, so, Gilbert Burns is going to brawl. If you want to brawl, Gilbert Burns will brawl, and Gilbert Burns will win the brawl. But that's the only time that we've ever really seen Hamzat get tested, which that's also a phenomenal fight. You should go back and watch that one. But we got to talk about Hamzat's behavior as of late. So, he has been calling out people left and right. First, we thought he was going to fight fucking Israel Adesanya. Then we thought he was going to fight Sean Strickland. Then we thought he was going to fight Colby Covington. Then we thought he was going to go and fight Gilbert Burns again. Then we thought he was going to go fight Bilal Muhammad. And, the guy has just been calling out people left and right, saying, I kill everybody. I smash everybody.
He barks a lot.
He barks a whole lot, but the motherfucker does bite. So, But in his last fight, his last time out, he beat Kevin Holland in, 30 seconds. And maybe a minute if Kevin Holland was lucky. And, of course, but he fucked that whole card up because he decided to just not make weight. He missed it by a whole 8 pounds, I think.
That was a catchweight card,
Mm-hmm.
as I call it.
I think it's exactly what it was. So Nate Diaz and Hamzat Chimaev was canceled. And Nate Diaz ended up fighting Tony Ferguson. Sean Brady ended up fighting Li Jingliang. And Kevin Holland ended up fighting Hamzat Chimaev, which salute to Kevin Holland for saying, yep, I'll fight Hamzat, because leave it up to Kevin Holland to say, I'll go fight that guy.
Oh, you got someone for me to fight? Let's go.
I mean, that's what we love about Kevin Holland. And dude's actually Batman, too. I don't know if y'all have read on it, but he's actually stopped a lot of crimes. He sees people misbehaving in public, and he ends up beating them up. The dude is literally Batman. But, leave it up to Kevin Holland to be like, fuck it, I'll fight that guy. And even though he got fucking ragdolled and then submitted in 2 minutes max. And, that was Hamzat's win after the Gilbert Burns fight. He also had a very good fight against Li Jingliang back in UFC 267. Yeah, I'm going back 2 years ago. And that was another Abu Dhabi card. And he straight picked up Li Jingliang and said, Dana, look. Dana, look, I come for everybody. Smashes him. I'll fight everybody. As he's fucking holding Li Jingliang in the air and slamming him on the fucking ground because he's Hamzat fucking Chimaev.
I mean, he won't make weight to fight everyone, but he will fight everyone.
Exactly. He'll fight anybody, but he won't be a professional about it. He's going to start fights backstage. He's going to go and miss weight, then go in and kill everybody.
Dude spends too much time on SmackDown vs. Raw.
I swear. But Hamzat's been a destroyer. Even though I don't like Hamzat's behavior as of late, game has to recognize game, and this motherfucker destroys people, man.
So I would say that I can respect him as a fighter, but I can't respect him as a respectable fighter.
Yeah, because he's not a respectable fighter. But which is kind of funny. We have a mean Habib. Basically, I mean, that's exactly what Hamzat is. He fights like Habib more than Islam does, because Islam does more striking than Habib ever did.
Did I see a Nurmagomedov on the card?
Yes, you did. You saw Saeed Nurmagomedov on the card, but he has no relation to Habib Nurmagomedov, believe it or not.
Even though we're pretty sure they're all clones.
They probably are. We all know Habib's up in the fucking lab going.
He's just programming away. Next one.
He's making them in every weight class. He's making his bloodline have every single 155 title belt in every division. In every fight promotion. His cousin, Usman Nurmagomedov, is Bellator 155 champion.
I saw that fight.
Dude's a destroyer. And you see he has Islam with his belt, basically. He has Hamzat that's over here fucking shit up and is probably going to be champion, excuse me, eventually.
I will say, as a little side note for Khabib. Now, I do remember him walking out when Islam first went for it and won the title. I don't recall seeing him since.
No, because
I think he's backed away from the game.
He definitely has stepped away. He isn't even promoting his own fight promotion anymore.
You had told me before that he had called and came to fruition that once he was done, it was Islam's time to shine.
Father plan.
But I think that after it was completed, he's like,
all right,
out of here.
Father plan is done. So time for me to go and retire. Actually, retire.
Hands
but
off fighting now.
But I mean, he's not. I don't know if he's going to be in the corner. He wasn't in the corner in the first Volkanovski fight. But he was in the corner in the Charles Oliveira fight.
Yeah, when he won the title.
When he won the title. But, you see, Khabib was at American Kickboxing Academy training up with Islam. So I don't know if he's going to be in the corner this time. He probably saw how he did without him and said, oh my gosh, that's complete shit.
I forget. Was Oliveira in Abu Dhabi? Maybe that's where... Maybe he only shows up to those ones.
Maybe, but like even then, he said he didn't even want to coach anymore. But there he was at American Kickboxing Academy training.
At that point, it's like, Daddy, come watch the fights. Come on, it's right here. We only fight here so we can bring glory to you. I'm sorry, I'm ripping on him.
It's okay.
Get my ass whooped.
It's okay. We can all agree, though, that Khabib's probably the best lightweight of all time, though. Just in pure dominance. But, you know, Islam's a lot similar to him because he only fights once a fucking year. Anyway.
Isn't this twice in 1 year?
Oh, yeah. This is true. This is twice in 1 year.
But,
Wow.
It's title defense, too, you know?
But, you know, Khabib only fought once a year. Anyway, he fought... Actually, no, it was twice in a year when he won the title. He won the title off of Ally Quinta. He was supposed to fight Max Holloway for it. But Max Holloway had to pull out of that fight. Then he beat Ally Quinta because, of course, he fucking did. It's Ally Quinta. I don't even think he fights anymore. And, I mean, he was game as hell. But, you know, you're not beating Khabib. Ally Quinta's not beating Khabib. And there's levels to this shit. Then he fought Conor McGregor in October. We've all seen it. We all know it. And then we all saw him give Dylan Dennis the fight of his fucking life after he jumped over the cage right at him because Dylan Dennis talked mad shit again. I don't know. You'd think Dylan Dennis would learn his lesson by now, that him shit-talking is just going to come back and bite him in the ass.
I'm pretty sure Greggy's just like, alright, here's how you trash talk, you teach me some kickboxing. I think that's how that works.
Dylan Dennis is a jiu-jitsu coach.
Damn it. No, it's fine. He didn't show much of either.
Nah, you're right. Oh, he tried to pull guillotine on Logan Paul. He tried to jump guillotine. But, you know, Logan stuffed the takedown and then did some ground and pound at the end of the fight. Then everybody jumped into the ring in the last seconds of the last round. And, you know, it put a very, very bad impression on the already dying sport of boxing. So that was horrible for the sport in general. Because, of course, when you have the most eyes on the sport in general, when you have Logan Paul or KSI fighting, then they go and do that shit. It's a total insult to the game. It's like Khabib and Conor. Like, that was a big insult to MMA when that happened. And I think they both know it.
I don't think Dan disrespects boxing at all. I think he just saw money and went, okay.
Ooh. Money and somebody that's popular online? Oh, I'm going to cash out with this one. Holy fuck. But then, you know, that's how that went down.
We should probably recenter it to the co-main event that we were trying for 294. We will get the podcast done. I believe in us.
Okay.
This is a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's why I brought the fucking water, too. There's a lot to talk about. It's going to be a long one. We're already a half hour into this shit, and we barely even touched the surface. Anyway, so, Hamzat, Destroyer. But he's facing another Destroyer, known as Kamaru. Fake the nut shot and grab the fence, Usman. But, you know.
So, Usman's last two fights, they were both losses?
Losses. He's coming off with a two-fight losing streak.
After he lost it to Edwards, I think I saw he went in for a double knee surgery?
Yes, he did have knee surgery.
Do you think that's going to affect his game?
No. I mean, to be honest, Kamaru Usman had one of the most dominant title reigns in modern welterweight history outside of GSP, because GSP is the greatest welterweight of all time. Let's be honest here, guys. Let's not lie to ourselves. But Kamaru Usman, clearly second place.
Yes.
Some will argue Tyron Woodley, and I could totally see your argument for that, but T. Wood's number 3. Kamaru Usman's number 2. But, you see, he had a dominant title reign with fucked up knees. So I don't think it's going to affect him at all. If I'm honest, he's used to it. And, you know, he fought well when he had the bad knees, and I think he'll fight even better post-knee surgery. That's me, though. But, you know, he is one of the all-time greats. And that's, like, one of the cool things about this card. You have two all-time greats in an Alexander Volkanovski and Kamaru Usman stepping up to save a card, going up a weight class, and fighting the boogeyman of that division. Like, we got Usman going up to middleweight fighting Hamzat Chimaev, and then we got Volkanovski moving up to lightweight to fight Islam Makhachev. That's fucking awesome. I mean, I love Justin Gaethje, don't get me fucking wrong, but somebody give the BMF belt to one of them too. I'm going to be probably Volk if I'm being honest. But, Volk's like, well, I'm going to have a title fight in 12 days notice, and I could potentially become a double champion. Yeah, 100%.
I feel like he was just waiting for that alert on his phone for when he could fight Islam again. Just like, Oliveira's out, get me in.
Get me in there. Fuck Dustin Poirier. Fuck Justin Gaethje. Fuck them both.
Listen, I'm a champ. This is going to be a double champ bout. You know you're going to make numbers. Come on. Let's do this now.
Put me in this bitch. Anyway,
Sign.
back to the co-main. So, Kamaru has been on a bit of a losing streak, but he's losing to Leon Edwards, who is in his prime right now and is fighting better than ever. This makes complete sense. You see, we all know what happened in their second fight between Usman and Leon Edwards. The first fight, Usman won a decision off of ground control. And then their second fight, we all know how that happened. Usman was dominating the whole fucking time. The whole fucking time, except for the first round. The first round he lost. He got taken down for the first time in his UFC career, and I went absolutely fucking bonkers when he got taken down. Forget it, when Leon Edwards, with 50 seconds left of the fight, threw a Hail Mary head kick and became welterweight champion. I'm sure you guys have seen the highlight. I don't need to tell you about it much. And then, of course, they had their trilogy fight back in March out in England. And if you're out in England and you're putting Leon Edwards against Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards is gonna be like, yeah, I'm not losing this one, governor. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna lose this one. Yeah, how'd you like my Leon impression?
I thought it was alright. I've heard a lot of English people, like a lot.
I watched Dan TDM as a kid. Trust me, I know a thing or two. But for some reason, I still do an Australian accent better. But, Anyway, Usman's on a bit of a losing streak, but he's losing to the fucking champion. So, he's beating everybody else. He beat Colby Covington. He knocked him out in their first fight. Got a decision, which, to be honest, I don't think he won that decision. I think Colby won that shit, but, it is what it is. And then, of course, he got a decision over Colby Covington. He knocked out Gilbert Burns with a fucking jab. And, let's see. He flatlined Jorge Masvidal in their second fight, and he stomped on his foot in the first fight. So, Yeah, I don't know, man. Is Usman a boring fighter or is he exciting? Because, the guy has both. He goes and he wins the title by wrestling Tyron Woodley to death, who's already one of the best wrestlers that the UFC's ever seen. He wrestles Tyron Woodley to death, barely gives him any room to breathe. His first title defense, he TKOs Colby Covington in the last round. His second title defense, he stomps on Jorge Masvidal's foot. And then
anything for them points.
And then he goes against Jorge Masvidal again, fucking flatlines him very early in the second round, fucking straight right hand out the pipe, and Jorge Masvidal went night-night. But, and then, of course, then he goes, actually, no, I think it was Gilbert Burns. Wait, it was Colby, Gilbert Burns, then Masvidal, too. Anyway, but he knocked out Gilbert Burns with a fucking jab. And, he knocked him down with the jab and then hammer-fisted him to death until he won.
Ah, the good old hammer fist.
And then he won a decision against Colby Covington and nearly got another title defense against Leon Edwards if Leon Edwards didn't pull a fucking Leon Edwards. But, So, Kamaru Usman, his record ain't nothing to scoff at. He's beaten some of the best, and, of course, like we said, he's second best. Everybody says Tyron Woodley because he went against a prime Stephen Thompson, but at the same time, man, those two fights are great, but those are the only two fights that people really think of when they think of Tyron Woodley's title reign. I think of every single fight that Usman had in his title reign.
Well, let me ask you this.
For better or for worse.
When someone goes up a weight class, more often than not, do they win or do they lose? Because they're taking on guys who are, I'm not going to say, bred for this, but it's their bread and butter. They do this for a living. That's what they fight on. So do you think that it throws off the game when you move up a weight class?
No, not really. We've seen a lot of successes in people moving up. We saw Conor McGregor do it when he moved up to welterweight to face Nate Diaz. We saw him do it when he moved up to lightweight to face Eddie Alvarez. He went up to welterweight, went back down to lightweight, and then, we beat Eddie Alvarez that way. We saw, of course, we saw Daniel Cormier go up to heavyweight and win the heavyweight title there. But then we have our cases of people not doing so great when they go up a weight class. But Then again, I'm talking about Israel Adesanya, by the way, when he went up to light heavyweight to go and challenge Jan Blachowicz and fucking failed. But,
yes, former champion Adesanya.
Hey, man, I'm not taking anything away from Strickland.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Key, but that is weird to say.
No champion. Former champion Israel Adesanya. Yeah, I'm just going to go and say it. That's what we're saying now. And, former champion Israel Adesanya goes up to light heavyweight and he loses. But here's the thing. Israel Adesanya was small for middleweight. Technically, he should have cut down to welterweight and he probably would have had more success there. But he wanted to fight close to his natural weight. He usually weighs at about 190. He only has to go down to 185. That's 15 pounds. That's easy. When he moved up to light heavyweight, he's facing the guy that's cutting down from like 230.
Yeah.
So, and plus the difference between middleweight and light heavyweight is crazy. You go from 185 to 205. Like, that's a fucking gigantic jump, guy. Like, there has to be like a cruiserweight right in the middle there, like 190. And then that would be amazing. Just like it doesn't make any sense with 155. And you go from 125, 35, 45, 55, 170? The UFC weight classes make no sense. I fucking hate it. There needs to be one in between. There needs to be like a light welterweight at 160. And I promise you, a lot of the current lightweights that kill themselves to get down to the 155 limit, Islam Makhachev, would do phenomenally in a light welterweight. But, I guess it doesn't, but then again, you go to Daniel Cormier's situation. He's 205. He fought 205, killed himself to get to 205. Well, he didn't kill himself to get to 205, but it definitely was a tough weight cut. He goes from going from like 230 down to 205. Then he just stays at his natural weight, and then he goes and beats Stipe. But Stipe was already small for heavyweight. So it's a gray area, but I've seen more successes than failures. And obviously, our most recent case with Volkanovski moving up, he lost, but, he didn't lose, And he lost the fight on points, but he won the fight. If you didn't see Islam Makhachev's face after that fight, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we told him to pause and go back and watch it. You should have done that so you know what we're talking about here.
He left his face in a fucking mess. And, even though Volk lost on points, he just slipped up in the 4th round after he won the 3rd round comfortably, and I guess questionably won the 2nd round. That one you could have scored either way. And then he was doing good in round 4 until he got taken down. Then once he got taken, he made one mistake, and then all of a sudden, blah, 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 went down. And some bullshit, and then, round 5, Volk won. You saw him on top at the end, pounding on Makhachev's face.
Yeah, we've circled back around to the main event. We were talking about the co-main event. But before we continue, I will reserve my... Moreno's going up, right? Figueiredo's going up. I will reserve my judgment on that. See how he does a weight up. I'll get back to you guys.
Okay, back to the co-main event.
Yes.
We got Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman. Sorry, there's so much to talk about. I'm bouncing fucking everywhere. But
a lot to digest in this one.
But Kamaru Usman was one of the most dominant champions in the modern era, guys. Just 2 years ago to date. Yeah, 2 years ago to date. He was the welterweight champion, looked unbeatable, and was the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. That was 2 years ago. That wasn't very long ago. At all. And now he dropped 2 fights, and now everybody's kind of looking a little bit past him, But, it's just you gotta think about it that way, though. 2 years ago, he was the shit. He won Fight of the Year 2021 because he fought 3 times and killed every motherfucker that he went against. He had a tremendous 2020, carried us through the pandemic. He was one of the better people that carried us through the pandemic. And of course, he looked unbeatable. He got by Leon Edwards, man. He got him good. He got him bad. But
now, I will say, you're going to start this at the start of 2022. He loved to trash talk Usman.
Oh yeah, because I fucking hate Usman.
But once again, Greggy, you gotta have haters. We're there for you.
Oh yeah, I shit on Usman a whole lot. But at the same time, man, game recognizes game. And Kamaru Usman's the fucking shit. And I can talk about him respectfully with me also trash-talking him, saying he fakes nut shots and grabs the fence all the time because he fucking does. But, I mean, so did Leon Edwards, so let's be honest here. Leon Edwards grabbed the fence.
It's okay. Nevada's sport commission, they talked to the referees about it. It's going to be a lot cleaner later because of that Mike Bell bullshit from before.
Oh my gosh. Noche UFC was a fucking nightmare. Shevchenko should have won that fight, y'all. If it was coming down to Mike Bell's scorecard and he scored a 10-9 for Shevchenko in round 3, then yeah. That shouldn't have been a 10-8. That was a 10-9 round for Grasso.
Yeah.
And if it was really coming down to Mike Bell's scorecard, Shevchenko should be in her second reign right now.
It was just that he did that 1-10-8, and that changed the whole freaking decision. There was no 10-8 the other way around. No. But that's the past. We Usman now.
Usman and Chimaev. But, Kamaru Usman just lost to the champion, to somebody that... And also, I think he's blind for scoring round 3 for Shevchenko, I'll be honest. Fucking Grasso won that round. But, anyway. So, Usman's lost,
yes.
Sure. But he lost to the champion and somebody that simply was better than him. And it's clear now that Leon Edwards is the better fighter. He won the trilogy.
Of course.
So,
We can talk about steam here and power, because all the steam up to the Usman-Edwards might have been taken out of him. But that doesn't mean he can't bring it back. I mean, you can't count out
a former...
2 years ago was pound for pound.
Number 1 on the rankings.
Looked at to be undefeatable,
And look unbeatable.
You can't just look past him.
Exactly. Which is, why I'm not really counting Kamaru Usman out here. I mean, yeah, he's stepping in on 10 days' notice, but he can fucking do it.
Right now?
He is.
The underdog.
And this is the first time that Kamaru Usman has been the underdog in a fight since 2019 when he won the title off of Tyron Woodley. That says volumes to not only how good Usman is, but how good Chimaev is as well. If he's considered to be an underdog, and he's a former champion, and he's going against the UFC's most recent hype train, known as Khamzat Chimaev.
I can't look to him as a respectable fighter, so it's always icky when I talk about him.
Yeah, but I mean this is gonna be a crazy fight, and plus both of these guys are grapplers.
Hell yeah. I just hope that we get to see a lot of action in it, because this fight, I can't imagine that it's gonna be a decision. I'm expecting that there will be a KO, TKO, submission, something or other. But I want to see lots of action packed before it goes to that.
And here's the thing. This is a grappler versus a grappler match, guys. This doesn't usually happen. You don't usually have grapplers versus grapplers. You have strikers versus grapplers, usually. And usually 9, and no, I wouldn't say 9. Like 8 times out of 10, the grappler usually wins that fight. I'd say 8 times out of 10. The grappler wins that fight against a striker. But then you've got a lot of striker versus strikers, or striker versus well-rounded fighter. This is what you don't normally see grapplers versus grapplers. And, of course, you have both two pressure wrestlers known as Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman, and they're going to be going at it. So here's what we also found out from when you put two high-pressure grapplers against each other. They end up boxing. Because if you go back and you watch the Colby Covington fight, the Usman-Covington 1 and 2, great fights, by the way, definitely worth your time. I love that series. But you have Usman and Covington, too. Both are high-pressure, high-volume wrestlers. They struck for 5 rounds in their second fight, especially. I think there was like a whole 2 takedowns in their first fight from Usman's side in a failed Colby Covington attempt. There should have been 1 secured takedown in their second fight. Colby Covington got Usman down. But,
What do you mean? Usman's never been knocked down until Leon Edwards.
Which, I mean... That's nothing to scoff at. I mean, a fucking striker, yes. A fucking striker took down a grappler.
We do make up words here sometimes.
Sometimes. Here on the Front Row Access Podcast, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary doesn't fucking exist. Anyway, but we see when you have 2 high-pressure grapplers go against each other, they end up striking. And if you want to talk striking, Usman's the better striker in this scenario, which is why I think Usman got him. I know Anthony has a different prediction. We'll get to his in a minute. But and also when we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight against both our grapplers, they struck and Khamzat struggled. I mean, he won, but he struggled. And plus, Gilbert Burns isn't as clean as Kamaru Usman is. Kamaru Usman's crispy. So to be honest, with this co-main event, I think it's gonna be awesome. But I got Usman by KO in the 5th. And because I think Khamzat's going to turn into a brawl, and Usman's too clean for that, and he will find his chin, and he's got power. We saw him flatline Jorge Masvidal, who has some of the best boxing in UFC. So I'm taking Usman for this one.
Did he dodge the knee?
He did dodge the knee, actually.
Of course. Of course.
Mhm.
We're talking about Jorge Masvidal. Anyways, I've got my I don't know, like yeah, words fail me. Merriam Diction, you failed me.
Marion Diction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You have failed me. But I've got nervous whenever I see someone trying to go up against a higher weight class. Usually, to me, it seems like they gas out or they can't do enough. So I'm going to say that, I'm going to give this to Islam in the 3rd round.
I think you meant Khamzat, but nah. I get it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just think that if Usman can take him down, he'll have no problem.
Mhm.
I really do. But if he can take him down, that's what I see is going to be difficult for him.
Yep. Which is also it's completely respectable. I mean, they both have been competing at welterweight mostly. Khamzat fought at middleweight very early on in his UFC career, but this is his first time at 185 in a couple of years. So I guess technically they're both moving up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I think Usman's too slick on the feet because I think this fight's going to end up staying on the feet, and I think he's going to catch Chimaev because Chimaev leaves himself open. But that's the co-main event, and that took up 45 fucking minutes of this podcast. So
We talk fights a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot to dive into, a lot of history, and a lot of speculations that we try looking at all the angles before we give you our views.
Yeah. We try to give you the best research possible, guys. I have fucking notes.
He
I don't know
does.
if you can see them. I read off of these every single podcast.
Each line is a subject that we discuss between each other on camera for you, the viewers.
Indeed. There's a lot of thought that goes into this shit, guys. I wrote this at college when I should have been doing homework. I ended up doing my homework. I wrote a fucking 3-page paper on inflation because macroeconomics. But
We actually planned this at college.
I planned this at college. I texted him.
We're just like, all right, when's this going down? How we doing this? Where are we meeting up? What time is this happening at?
Yeah, most of our decisions to do podcasts aren't very scheduled. They're usually impulsive. But,
But usually you can count on one for a pay-per-view. This guy loves his wrestling too. You can count on one for most of the
wrestling
pay-per-views
pay-per-views.
when it comes to Raw, SmackDown, and just subjects too. You know, if something piques our interest, there's a good chance that we've already got notes about it. Whether we get to them or not and upload them to you, that's
a different story.
Scheduling.
Yep. We had a whole country episode. When do I don't listen to country music, guys. I listened to it for 2 months straight just so I could give it to you.
Damn it! I just remember when you brought up music, we still have to finish.
We still have to finish Linkin Park. Oh my gosh. Oh. Guys, go and watch our 2 Linkin Park episodes while you're at it. Of course, I know you're in a May brain right now, but
Yeah.
go and watch our Linkin Park episodes. We have to finish that. We have 2 more fucking albums that we have to cover. Just 2 more. We need Hunting Party, and we need One More Light. And we haven't gone over them yet.
Don't we still have votes up on our next subject that we're going to discuss?
No, nobody voted. The poll closed.
Oof.
You guys suck.
Point. Well, we'll think of something for you.
It's just tough when you're first starting out, and not a lot of people really care. But we'll make you care. Anyway, main event time. We got Islam, Father Plan, Makhachev, Dagestani fucking wrestler, versus the Thunder from Down Under, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. My gosh, guys. This is one of the most highly anticipated rematches ever.
And it's even more so because we weren't sure it was going to happen. No thanks to you, Islam. But anyways,
No offense to you, Islam, but you don't tend to fight that often.
it is happening. Yeah, we knew you didn't want to know what he was offering.
Exactly. And, I mean, the Oliveira rematch, that's also very anticipated, but
Yeah.
at the same time, Oliveira looked like trash in that fight. He did not show up that day, and I'm like, damn it, Oliveira, I wanted you to defend your belt. But, you see, here we are. We got a rematch between Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. You guys know the story. We've been talking about it. We've been around the bush the whole time. They fought last time in February. It was a very closely contested fight between pound for pound number 1 and 2 going at each other. And oh my gosh, it was one of the closest fights that you'll ever see. It was an epic fight. Fight of the year 2023, assuming this one isn't better.
It was amazing to see, and I'm glad it happened. I just did not see this happening. If not now, then so soon, you know?
Expected it to happen a little bit, like maybe a couple years down the line after Islam defended in his fucking weight class more.
I thought it might headline something, maybe, I don't know, 310, 315, a big one, because this fight was meaty.
Oh my gosh.
This fight had everything you could want. This fight went the distance. It was amazing to see.
You saw Volkanovski get in positions that are very uncomfortable, and he fought out of them. You had Volkanovski getting put in. Islam being able to ragdoll Volkanovski is already very impressive. Nobody can wrestle Volkanovski at featherweight, but him being able to even take him down, that was crazy to see. But what's even more impressive is the way Volk was able to get out of having his back taken by Islam fucking Makhachev, and like he survived. Like, he broke out of it. He stuffed takedowns. He only got cleanly taken down, like, twice. But even then, he got back up. And, like, you can tell he did any and everything in preparation for the fight. It just Islam got him in that 4th round. And he just kind of held on to him. He didn't do much. He wasn't really threatening much of a choke. He just kind of held the body triangle and won the round. I mean, you watched the fight. You saw it.
Yeah, we had to go reference it twice already, if not 3 times.
Exactly. You saw it. That's why Islam won the fight, was that 4th round. But, oh my gosh, there was technical striking. There was even moments where they brawled. There were takedowns and takedown attempts from both ends. I think Volk even tripped Makhachev at one point, which, when the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, we got to say shaken Islam.
We got to see twice. We got to see a shaken Islam twice. He got wobbled early in round 1, and of course he got knocked down in round 5.
Be honest, on the come up, if you've kept up with Islam, the dude looked like a monster and unstoppable. Were you expecting that back then?
No.
But the same thing can be said about Volk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how you were referencing Usman 2 years ago, pound for pound, looked undefeatable. Challenges in the featherweight? It's hard to come by. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And I mean, obviously, Volkanovski fought another time after that because he actually fights Islam. And
He's He's gonna find us.
He's gonna find us. He's just gonna fucking wrestle us to death. Now Khabib will come too. Khabib will take you. I'll get Islam. And
after one of these podcasts, we're gonna walk out. They're gonna be on your pathway, saying, "Hey, you're talking shit about us. We heard."
Oh, I hear you talk shit. You just like drunk guy. You just like drunk leprechaun guy. You talk shit. I show you. Let's talk now, as he fucking takes me down and pounds my face in. But, obviously, all respect. It's just I don't like an inactive champion. But,
Seriously, if you're not doing something to keep not only your height, but your fighting and your skills up to date and sharp, we think you're getting a bit dull. And, no one likes that.
Nobody.
Not one person.
So, Volk fought in February against Islam, and he lost. He came up short. It was close fight. One of the best fights I've ever watched. I'll be honest with you, man. It was crazy. It was like when the immovable object meets the unstoppable force. That's exactly what this was. You have two dominators within their division, and, just fucking shit up left and right. And then they're finally meeting in a fucking octagon, and they both had successes. They both looked good. It just, Islam came up on top at the end. It was a crazy fucking fight. I loved every second of watching it. Just sucks that Volk lost. But, tremendous fight. Fight of the year, 2023. if this one, like I already said, if this one doesn't beat it. Because, I mean, did you see that first fight? You saw that first fight. It was fucking nuts. And I've watched that fight back so many times, like 15 times now. I watched it back again today in preparation up for this episode. And it's just crazy that we have a point in UFC where this can happen. Because, like, then you don't have to wonder what if anymore. More people are willing to move up in weight. Like, the biggest what if in UFC was what if GSP fought Anderson Silva when they were both in their prime.
I am starting to shake in anticipation for what happens after this, too. Because we both want Volk to win. I don't know if you got that from how we're describing Makhachev. But can you imagine if they're 1-1? What's going to happen for the best of 3?
Oh my gosh, bro.
Right?
And the best of 3, because they're going to do a trilogy if Volk wins. And you see, it's going to be like, holy fuck. And then, of course...
That's going to be like Mount Washington blowing up.
For real. That's literally what this is. And let's see. So we're going to talk a little bit about Islam, because, of course, let's talk about the champ before we talk about the challenger.
Of course, all credit.
So, you know, we already discussed his dominance. The guy has looked unstoppable until the Volk fight, but we're going to leave that as an exception. The dude was unstoppable. He fucking marched down Charles Oliveira, who also looked damn near unbeatable at that time. Like, he was taking out contenders left and right. He took out Dustin Poirier. He took out Michael Chandler. Well, he took out Michael Chandler to win the belt. He took out Dustin Poirier in his first title defense, and he took out Justin Gaethje.
And once again, all credit to you, Oliver. We hope for a speedy recovery. He looks a bit more unstoppable with that back tap.
He does. And then, of course, he goes and he drops one to Islam. But he dropped one to Islam. Islam in that fight, he would take people down with... Islam prior to that fight would take people down with ease and just pound their face in until, like, they're Dunyan rings.
Fight, bred, and trained the sport.
To destroy.
In that lab with Khabib.
In that lab with Khabib.
That,
But, you know, he would take down people with ease. We saw Dan Hooker get fucked on by Islam Makhachev. Because Dan Hooker also was looking pretty good. I mean, he stepped in on last minute because I think, fucking Makhachev was supposed to fight Dariush on that card. And then Hooker stepped in. Hooker lost, unfortunately, a month removed from his very good win. And Islam made him look like Dan Hooker went tooth and nail with Dustin Poirier. I don't know if you've ever watched that fight before. You definitely should. It's one of the best fights you'll ever see. If you want to see like pure MMA porn, that's it right there. Like you see the striking, you see the grappling, you see some clinch work, you see some creative strikes. Fucking Dustin Poirier with his pistol whip hammer fist on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker absolutely wailing on Dustin Poirier, and I don't know how Poirier didn't go down, but he didn't go down.
He's just built different.
It just built different. But that fight with Dustin Poirier showed how crazy Dan Hooker was, right? And then, you know, Dustin Poirier is number 2 in the world. He's actually not number 2 now, he's number 3 now, since the Gaethje loss. But, Dan Hooker is a good fighter. And then he went against Islam, and Islam made it look like he wasn't that guy that went tooth and nail with Dustin Poirier just a year ago.
Like, oh, that was a one-off.
He took him down with ease, pounded his face in, and then Kimura'd him, and he won. That was that. What did he do when he had to fight Bobby Green? Bobby Green is like one of the ultimate coin flip fighters ever. He's either really good that night or he's really fucking bad. And there's no in between. But
that's when he shows up.
But of course, Bobby Green stepped in on short notice for Dariush again. We've been teased with Dariush versus Islam for a very long time now. I want to see that fight still. But
that would be crazy. I think the last time I saw Dariush in Saudi.
Dariush and Saudi. Yeah, you saw him beat Gamrot.
Yeah, that aftering.
Oh, when he started preaching Christianity to the Muslim fucking crowd.
I would have loved to see him there again.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to see him there, but unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. But
honestly, I wouldn't have given it to him. So sorry, Dariush.
Sorry, Dariush. We love you. You're like the fun dad of the UFC lightweight division. But Bobby Green stepped in, and what did Islam do? He fucked him. Not in that way. He fucked him up. That's what I should say.
He did all but that way.
And dude, It was bad. And then, of course, that's what got him to call for the title shot. He got the title shot against Oliveira after Oliveira fucking slept Justin Gaethje. He didn't sleep him. Well, he did sleep him. He just choked him instead of punched him. He knocked him down and then choked him because he's Charles fucking Oliveira. Goes from striking to jiu-jitsu and like that because he's Charles fucking Oliveira. But Islam was looking unstoppable at that point. Then he goes up against Charles Oliveira. Everybody's like, "Oh, Oliveira's on a different level. Oliveira's gonna do this. He's gonna win this fight because I mean he just lost his belt to the scales." But obviously, when all of us are under the impression that Charles is going into his 4th title defense against fucking Islam Makhachev after just winning the belt in 2021, already having 4 title defenses within his year of champion.
We love active champions.
This is what I really miss about Charles Oliveira, though, is like he was an active champion. We would have seen the lightweight title if he was still champion. We would have seen the lightweight title defended like at least 2 other times before this year. With Islam, we only saw it in February and now in October.
What's that thing they chant in Brazil?
Uva morrer.
Uva morrer.
Which means you will die in their native tongue.
That's just Oliveira.
Then, Oliveira, we saw him get hurt. We've seen him get knocked down. We've seen him nearly get finished. Dustin nearly almost got him out of there. Chandler nearly fucking killed him in round 1. He went all gorilla mode on him. Gaethje knocked him down 3 times. And, although I think one of them he forced to try to trick Gaethje to go to the ground with him.
That's the thing with active champions. You like seeing the struggle. You like seeing the defense. You like seeing how close it can be. You should take some notes, Makhachev.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, maybe more than a little bit.
Then
we will loan you a notebook so that you can take a couple notes.
Because even though Charles Oliveira did struggle in all of his title defenses and he beat all my favorite fighters, but
it's fine.
It's okay. It was Oliveira. It's okay. It's Oliveira. And we saw him get hurt. We saw him get knocked down, but the guy didn't fucking give up. And then he ended up getting up the next round and then fucking finishing the guy. And, finishes. Not decisions. Not dancing around the octagon to a decision. Israel Adesanya. But I love you, Izzy. But,
or Islam and Volk.
Or Islam and, Volk just pounds you.
Volk would have gone. Volk was trying to get that finish, I'm just saying.
He finished Yair Rodriguez. He finished Korean Zombie. And, but we'll get more on that when we get to Volk. But, we're on Islam time.
Yes.
So, Islam going into that fight, people were starting to count Islam out a little bit. I think Charles Oliveira did it. I think he's going to beat him. Because, let's be honest, he lost the title to the scales. He didn't lose it to Justin Gaethje. He lost it to the scales, and everybody was under the impression that he was going into his 4th title defense against Islam Makhachev within a year of being champion. I already mentioned that, but still.
Was it only by half a pound too or something?
Yeah, it was really bad. Mm-hmm.
What was what was Hamzat in that catchweight one?
8 pounds off.
I thought it was 8 pounds.
But they switched the whole card around because he lost. Because he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Didn't make the weight. You were supposed to make the weight. I'm not going to try to justify missing weight so you keep the belt. But, of course, he lost the belt to the scales, not to Justin Gaethje. And then he ended up losing the belt in the public's eyes to Islam Makhachev when Islam marched down Charles Oliveira, who usually marches down his opponents. He knocked him down and then fucking submitted him. He went straight Charles Oliveira on Justin Gaethje, except it was Islam Makhachev on Charles Oliveira. And everybody thought Oliveira was gonna put up a good fight. He didn't. Islam dominated him. Islam knew what he wanted. He's fighting for Father Plan. He got plot armor. But, Then
again, at this time, I do recall, I thought that him not having the belt was also messing with his mind.
Yeah, and he was very adamant about being...
He's like, where's my belt? Where's my belt? I won. Where's my belt?
Where's my belt? The champion has a name. It's Charles Oliveira. But, It was just, I think it clouded his vision a little bit, probably. And, of course, he called for a round 1 knockout, so he went balls to the wall on Islam. And you don't go balls to the wall on Islam. Islam's going to find you. He's going to find your legs, and he's going to take you down. And if he doesn't find your legs, he's going to find your chin.
Bit more prep, bit more research there, Oliveira.
Yeah, take notes. But, unfortunately, Oliveira came up short, and then of course he bounced back with the win over Beneil. But we're not talking about Charles Oliveira.
That's Oliveira. He's no longer a part of this card, so he stays over there. We reference his fights because they're hella good fights, and he lost to Islam Makhachev, which made him look to me like that immovable force, that unstoppable force. And because it was Volk, he is that immovable object.
Which brings us to Mr. Alexander Volkanovski, the Thunder from Down Under. We love Volk over here on the Front Row Access podcast. We love you to death.
You're awesome.
You're awesome. And I want you to have two of them motherfuckers come Saturday.
He's going to do a shoey when you win, by the way.
I am going to do a shoey, and I'm going to record it. And I'll post it. If Volk wins, which...
We are going in there because
we're going in there.
Manifesting destiny.
We're manifesting destiny. So when Volk wins, I'm going to do a shoey. And that shoey will be recorded and posted on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere.
You know how bad this is going to look Sunday if that's not the case?
It's going to look so bad. It's okay, though. If it ages like milk, it ages like milk. I said Kevin Holland would beat Jack Della Maddalena. He did not beat Jack Della Maddalena. Anyway, Volkanovski, the unstoppable force. No, he's the immovable object. He's the immovable object because everybody that steps to him just fucking dies. You see, Alexander Volkanovski was a rugby player at one point in his career. He weighed like 220-something pounds. He's 5'6", by the way. It's a big boy.
Fucking Wolverine.
He's fucking Wolverine. So, of course, his first couple of fights were at middleweight. He's 5'6", and he was fighting at 185. Just, Alexander Volkanovski is a tiny tank, is what I love to call him. So we know him, and we love him, and he's had one of the greatest 145 featherweight title reigns. I'd say better than Jose Aldo. I'll be honest.
Defenses.
A lot of defenses. Islam. Anyway, but I'd say he's had a better reign than Jose Aldo. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I think Volk's better than Jose Aldo.
Don't be sorry about it.
I think Volk's better than Jose Aldo. I'm sorry. I think he's a featherweight GOAT now. But if he wins this Saturday, he is the best featherweight. There is no doubt about it. I already hear y'all in the comments. Jose Aldo held that shit for 8 years. Yeah. 4 of those years were in WEC. That doesn't even exist anymore. And, of course, think of the talent that was at featherweight at that time. There was nobody.
It's a much broader talent pool.
You got motherfuckers in there that do just about everything under the sun. You got Max Holloway, who you need a fucking baseball bat to knock out. You have fucking Brian Ortega, whose jiu-jitsu is second best to Charles Oliveira. You have fucking Korean Zombie, who's game as hell. We loved your last fight, even though you got flatlined by Max Holloway. But you got flatlined by Max Holloway, and that's perfectly fine. And that's one hell of a way to go out. Yair Rodriguez, this high-volume kicker who just has highlights reel upon highlight reel of just knockouts left and right. You have wrestlers like Josh Emmett going in there. You have technical boxers like Calvin Kattar in there. You didn't have that when Jose Aldo was champion. You didn't. I mean, yeah, Jose Aldo was pound for pound number 1. Yes, he looked unbeatable, but Conor McGregor took that away from him. Unfortunately. But, no, I don't think Conor McGregor's higher on the featherweight GOAT list than Jose Aldo. I'm just saying.
How many times did he defend that?
0.
So, all you Greggy fans, just quiet down a bit.
Of course, yes, he totally did beat Jose Aldo, and I'm not taking anything away from that. That 13-second KO, stellar.
Like I said, we respect all the fighters, especially if we like you. We respect those we don't like McGregor. What you did to Aldo...
And what you did to Alvarez afterwards.
Like, me coming in last year, they showed me that shit. And I'm like, woof. And then I heard you had 0 defenses. Anyways, I need to go get another do. I'll be right back.
Alright, so while Anthony's away, I'm going to not stop this recording and have him get me another one. Because I'm getting low over here. So yeah, guys. No, I do not have McGregor higher on the GOAT list than Jose Aldo. Either one. So, I'm not saying that Conor McGregor's better. I'm just saying that I think Volk is the greatest featherweight of all time, seconded to Jose Aldo. And Jose Aldo's depth of talent that he beat was not as good as what Volk has been able to do.
Are you talking about people who are saying Greggy?
Mm.
I'm not gonna be as polite as him. Get that shit out of here with your zero defenses. I don't even know too much about the sport because Volk's been running it. Volk's been running it since I've been here. But it's Volk, then it's Aldo, and then it's frickin' Holloway because he's that guy.
Because he is that guy.
He's that guy who's like, you want him, you go through me.
You go through
can't
me.
Get through me.
And, alright, now we're going to talk about Volkanovski's title reign. Here's a fun fact about Volkanovski. He's the only standing champion from the end of 2021. Everybody else at the end of 2021 who was champion all lost their belts. So, let's see. We're going to go like this. At the end of 2021, your flyweight champion, men's flyweight, was, actually, no, we'll go women's strawweight. Your women's strawweight champion at the end of 2021 was Rose Namajunas. She lost it to Carla Esparza the next year. Your women's flyweight champion was Valentina Shevchenko. She just lost it to Alexa Grasso earlier this year. And then your women's bantamweight champion was Amanda Nunes. She is retired and that belt is vacant. Your men's flyweight champion was Brandon Moreno. He lost his belt to Figueiredo, won his belt back, and then lost to Alessandro Pantoja. Unfortunately, I love you, Moreno. But, oh man, you hurt my heart when you lost that fight. But, anyway, your men's bantamweight champion of the world was Aljamain Sterling. He just lost that belt to Sean O'Malley. I watched that live. Electric crowd, by the way. One of the best crowds I've ever been in. But, he lost it in Boston earlier this year. Your men's featherweight champion was Alexander Volkanovski. He's still there to this date. Your 155 champion at the end of 2021 was Charles Oliveira. He lost it to Islam Makhachev. Your men's welterweight champion was Kamaru Usman. He lost it to Leon Edwards. Your middleweight champion was Israel Adesanya. He lost it to Alex Pereira, regained it, then lost it to Strickland. Your light heavyweight champion was Glover Teixeira. He's retired, and now that belt is vacant. And your heavyweight champion was Francis Ngannou. He parted ways with the company and vacated his belt, and now John Jones is the champion in the heavyweight division. The only standing champion from the end of 2021 is Alexander Volkanovski. And that's fucking saying something. He's the only surviving champion. And yes, I even counted the women's divisions, too. The only one standing. And that just goes to show how great this title reign is, man. He won his title back in 2019 when he absolutely outclassed the shit out of Max Holloway. Max fucking Holloway. He beat Max Holloway, who was also a dominant champion within himself. Beating Jose Aldo, he beat fucking Frankie Edgar, and he beat fucking, what's the other guy's name? Holy shit, what's his name? I already said Brian Ortega. Korean Zombie. Anyway. He did all of this. Actually, no, he didn't beat Korean Zombie until this past year. They never fought. I can't remember who his third title defense was against, but it'll come back to me. But anyway, Volkanovski won that by a unanimous decision by outclassing the shit out of Max Holloway. They have a rematch, obviously, because Max Holloway was the champion. It was a long-standing champion, so he gets his rematch. He lost the decision, even though that was closely contested. A lot of people scored it for Max, so then that left a lot of people questioning whether or not Volk was legit. And then after he defended his belt against Max Holloway, he faced Brian Ortega, where we saw his fucking champion heart on display. He was getting... You guys have seen the clips, I'm sure. Alexander Volkanovski was caught in a fucking mounted guillotine. Not a normal standing guillotine or just a front headlock guillotine. No, a mounted guillotine. And he was getting squeezed on by Brian Ortega, who, like I said, has the second best jiu-jitsu next to Charles Oliveira. He broke out of that shit because he's fucking Volk. He broke out of this tight-ass guillotine. I legit thought we were going to see a new champion in Brian Ortega. Nope. He broke out of that shit. And just when you thought that was, if you thought that was impressive, he gets locked up in a triangle choke about 15 seconds later. This is Brian Ortega's signature move. He's called T-City Ortega. The T stands for Triangle City because he does triangle chokes left and right. He had his signature move locked in on Volkanovski, the person that he's finished so many people with that same lock. Volk broke out of it. He got put into another triangle choke in round 5. Volk broke out of it and proceeded to pound on him for the remainder of the fight. That's when Volkanovski's respect was earned, at least to me. A couple of people, it took a little while after this title defense for them to respect Volk, which I think they're crazy for that.
Some people just don't want to see something be true.
And that's just what it was there. Volkanovski earned all legitimacy and respect after, because I was under that impression too. I was like, Max Holloway beat him in that second fight. Because I did score for Max Holloway. I'll be honest. I think Max Holloway won that fight, and I still stand by it. But I'm like, yeah, Volk did not win that fight. But then I saw what he did against Brian Ortega, and I was like, oh my fucking god, this guy's fucking crazy. He just beat Brian Ortega. And then his next title defense in April 2022 was against the Korean Zombie. One of the most exciting fighters ever. One of the most technical fighters. One of the most powerful and one of the most well-rounded. Let's be honest. He has He had the first twister submission in UFC history, and he has more Darstroke finishes than anybody else. Actually, no. I think that goes to Tony Ferguson, but he's like in second place. And Korean Zombie was game as hell, man. And then Volk TKO'd him in round 4. Then, the answer that everybody was waiting for. Max Holloway went on to go and beat Yair Rodriguez in a banger fight. You should go and watch that fight, too. That's an awesome one. Volk versus Max 3. This is when everybody's like, all right, now we're going to see Max get his belt back because he beat Volk in that second fight. I was under that impression, too. I was like, oh, you know what? My heart wants Max Holloway, but I'm going to be honest. I think Volk's going to get this. Right? I did want Max Holloway to win. Now, Max Holloway got fucked on that whole fight. I don't know if you've seen the gigantic cut that Max Holloway had over his forehead. How many shots, like full power shots, he ate from Volkanovski. I swear to God, I like to put this in there. I think after the fourth round, actually, if you're in a 5-round fight, after the 4th round, if you have not so much as wobbled Max Holloway, you deserve to hit him once with a baseball bat. Just once. With a baseball bat. Because his chin is made of that much fucking iron. Fucking vibranium shit. But Volkanovski dominated him. 50-45, 50-44 on one of the cards. Somebody said he 10-8'd him.
Goddamn.
In one of the rounds. And then no questions about Volk's legitimacy were ever brought up after this. Because everybody's like, oh, he beat Max Holloway in that Max Holloway beat him in that second fight. This third fight, Max gonna get his belt back. Nope. Volk showed there are levels to this shit now. And I'm in my fucking prime. You already were a champion. This is my time. I'm fucking winning this shit. And he went in and he dominated the fuck out of Max Holloway. And then that opened up his double champ fight with Islam Makhachev earlier this year. Which he looked fucking phenomenal in. He just came up short.
Dude looked like he could keep going, honestly.
Honestly, Makhachev looks like he couldn't even go another round.
I don't think Islam was up for another round.
If there was a bonus round, I'm pretty sure Volk would have won the fight. But Islam did not look ready for another round. Volk looked like he can go on another 5, another fucking 12 if he wanted to.
Islam looked like he was having a day of it. He looked like he was having a good time.
Mm-hmm. He was fresh, standing on his own 2 feet. Islam Makhachev's corner had to hold him up as they called his victory. And that doesn't say the level of fucking legitimacy that Volk has. I don't know what will. How game he is. How much of that dog in him that he's got. Because he has got that dog in him. The mentality of fucking Alexander Volkanovski was incredible. Now, earlier this year in July, he had his featherweight title defense. Yeah, he went back down and defended his belt. And then,
Wait, defense multiple times in a year?
What? But, then he goes against Yair Rodriguez, whom everybody thought was going to give Volk a run for his money. Volk won every round and finished him in the 3rd. It TKO'd him on ground and pound after fucking wobbling him. Dude, Volk is game as hell. He has got that fucking dog in him. And this is why we both have so much faith in the guy, because he's proven himself time and time again. Every single contender that stepped to him that we thought would give him trouble, he just made it look easy.
I was going to say, all of these fighters we're mentioning, they're all freaking phenomenal fighters. Like, we all know that they have it in them to win matches. They could have good runs, too. It's just
Volkanovski.
The drive of that immovable object to stay there, to stay that champion, to not let anyone knock him down or through that immovable object. is something
He had no fucking issues.
that keeps me stunned.
Every time you watch a Volk fight, I just get more and more impressed. I'm gonna be honest, because this guy just seems like he has like just this undying belief in himself and this tremendous work ethic.
And we also know, Volk isn't going to be champion forever.
Of course not.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, people. Maybe if the UFC disbands.
But I don't think that's happening anytime soon with that Endeavor deal with the TKO.
But aside from that, all fighters come and go. We just want to see how far they go.
Exactly.
And what they pull off during their reign, during their prime.
Like with Volkanovski, man, you're you're watching history happen with him. You are watching greatness. Like you are watching the good old days with Anderson Silva, with Volkanovski. You are watching the heyday for Tony Ferguson when you're watching Alexander Volkanovski right now. You have an all-time great that's currently fighting, and a lot of people still won't give him the respect for it. I think more and more people are doing it now, but it took a long time for people to get to that point with Volkanovski. I'm like, you are witnessing greatness. You're going to look back at Alexander Volkanovski like an Anderson Silva, like a GSP, like a, fucking who else was there? Those are like the two big ones. Like John Jones, when John Jones eventually hangs it up.
When his reign is over, no, it's going to take a lot for us not to be able to say he's no Volk,
Mm-hmm. It's going to be like a Jose Aldo. You're gonna look back at him like a Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
You're gonna look back at him as Conor McGregor when Conor McGregor was in his prime. For you Conor fans out there, you're gonna look back at. I think the same with Israel Adesanya as well. Even though Israel's been on a bit of a stint, but we know he's not gonna be champion forever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Israel's time is up, but Volk is still going. He's taking down people left and right. Now, also to put more impression on Volk, I want you to know that Max Holloway has not lost to anybody at featherweight. He beats everybody at featherweight except for Volkanovski. He's the only guy that he can't beat. You put Max Holloway against anybody else. You put him against Brian Ortega, which we did. He won. You put him against Korean Zombie. He fucking flatlined him in his hometown. Well, not his hometown, but close to his hometown. You put him against Yair Rodriguez, who looks extremely dangerous and unpredictable on paper, and he fucking beats him. He does all this. He keeps beating these contenders left and right. It doesn't matter who you put Max Holloway. You put him in front of Calvin Kattar, and he goes in and lands 700 fucking strikes. Well, he doesn't land 700 fucking strikes. He throws 700 fucking strikes, and 500 of them land. And he goes and destroys a Calvin Kattar, a very technical, very good, calculated boxer like Calvin Kattar. You go and put him against Max Holloway, he's gone. They're Max Holloway's great. He's going to go down as one of the greatest featherweights of all time, but he's just not at Volk's level. Volkanovski made it look easy against Max Holloway in that third fight. That third fight especially. You look back at that third fight that he had with Max Holloway, and you tell me, what round did Max Holloway win? I'll wait. See, you can't. Or maybe it's because you're yelling at me through a phone screen and you're not.
Don't worry, put it in the comments and we'll see it there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say it right now. And the bull stops with me, dog. You tell me what round did Max Holloway win, and which one did he even compete with Volkan in that fight? You tell me. What was it? Because I didn't see nothing.
It's sit in the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Volk fighting. You go, that's Holloway fighting. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
With any rounds, there you go, right there. That's what Max Holloway can do.
And Max Holloway, he's another great. He beats everybody in front of him. Anybody that you throw at him except for Volkanovski, he beats. He's also going to go down like a Jose Aldo in the future because he's that MFing good. He's just in the shadow of Volk. And that's why I know I'm really talking it up, but Volkanovski's it, guys. You got to look back. You got to start appreciating this. You are witnessing Anderson Silva in the heyday right now. You are witnessing GSP when he was racking title defense after title defense right now. Be grateful for Volk.
Down the line, Volk's that guy.
Volk is that guy. People might even put him against John Jones because John Jones doesn't have much left in him. Let's be honest, he's been in the game for a long time now. I mean, yeah, sure, he's still young. He's 34 years old, 35. But he's been fighting since he's 20. He's my age. He's fighting. All right?
Yep.
He's been in the game a long time. And let's be honest, he's already done everything that you can really do in this sport. He's won a title in both weight classes. He's defended a belt multiple times. And, you know, he's proven himself as a great fighter. And made other great fighters look like fucking subpar fighters. People look at John Jones as the GOAT right now, and that's completely valid. GSP's my GOAT, so I'm going to disagree respectfully there. But a lot of people say Anderson Silva's their GOAT. Respect there. And a lot of people say Demetrius Johnson is. He's still going. He's just in another fight promotion. And I respect that, but I'm going to be honest, it's GSP. But after Volk's reign is done, depending on how far he goes, especially if he wins this double champ fight, dude, there's no doubt in it now. You're witnessing a generational talent. There's not going to be a lot of fighters like Volk ever again. These people come once in a lifetime. But, and, you know, that's me talking up Volk. As you can understand, I safely have chosen Volk to win this fight. I got him with a KO or TKO within 4 rounds.
I got him with 3 because he's hungry and wants the blood.
And that's that. And I think, I mean, we have one other fight on here. Do you want to go over that? It's Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker.
I mean,
we've been at this for a long time.
Yeah, not really. I like Walker for it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I got Magomed Ankalaev by fucking submission. But that's me. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's that, guys. And I'm just saying, go and purchase UFC 294 if you haven't already. It's on ESPN Plus. You don't want to miss this shit. It's gonna be a good fucking fight and a good fucking card. And remember, it's not at night. It's not at 10. It's at 2. The main card is at 2 p.m. And
Thank you, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Abu Dhabi. Your main card is at 2 p.m., your prelims are at 12 p.m., and your early prelims are at 10 a.m. This dude's going to be here for the early prelims, so I'm going to get my ass up to watch the fights at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Should we do a pre-show one then, too? Just little
pre-show? Like a live stream, maybe.
Pay-per-views now. If you don't have it, get it, you know.
Like a live stream? Yeah, we can live stream.
A little bit.
Yeah, we'll live stream on that Saturday. But that's it, guys. That's the predictions. That's the fights. I can't wait to see what goes down. Fingers crossed for Volk, because I think he's got it this time.
One way or another, defend your fucking title, Islam. Just defend, okay? We don't want you just coming out in Saudi Arabia like a freaking living under a rock type of guy, okay?
All right. So that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go and follow us on TikTok. It is front.row.access on TikTok. Go follow us on Instagram. That is front_row_access. And, you know, subscribe to the channel. We're on Spotify as well.
I got a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone here knows my UFC started about going on 2 years now.
Almost, yeah.
Post and comment your favorite fights that you want him to show me, and I'll go over them with you, and we'll discuss them.
I'll let you know in the comments whether or not he's seen that fight, because I've shown him a lot of them. But, of course, email us at frontrowaccess15@gmail.com. Pepsi, I'm looking at you. We got the Mountain Dew. Thank you so much. And we'll see y'all at the fights later.